time. Did you know the FDA regulates 78% of our food supply, and with the remaining of that percentage, the FDA will leave it to food companies to determine what ingredients will be added into our food. And that's on self-regulation, and to me, that's concerning. As an informed and American consumer, I've read countless labels, researched this topic academically, and reviewed articles from universities, scientists, and experts, and government-related regulated sources. So you know, I come with receipts. And I'm sure as many of you as well are very informed as well when it comes to food, right? Well, this goes deep, and there's so much to this that we need to break down and understand what we can do as a society to fix this problem, and it does start with us. The FDA is failing to protect us by relying on the lenient GRAS system, which gives businesses too much control over food ingredients and ignoring scientific evidence linking many additives to serious health risks. Today, I will explain how the FDA's GRAS system allows companies to decide which additives go into our food from businesses, and how the US will often wait for widespread illnesses before banning harmful ingredients. We can make a change, and it starts with us. And as a democracy, we can understand more about the products that are being added into our food and what we can do to stop this issue and why we should be informed. Let's begin by exploring how the FDA's lenient and arguably corrupt system they use, such as the GRAS system, lets companies add potentially unsafe additives, preservatives, and any ingredients into our food, often listing them without labels. The GRAS system is failing to protect us by giving companies too much power by letting any label additives they choose as considered safe without approval, that's what the GRAS system is, by allowing harmful ingredients into our food. This is called the GRAS loophole, and by having it, this will allow food companies to decide if an additive is safe without approval from the FDA. According to the BCP.org, on May 23, 2017, for example, butylated hydrogenaceol, a California Proposition 65 listed carcinogen that also causes hormone disruption and male reproductive toxicity, is a GRAS designated chemical that is used in cereal, diced, glazed fruits, and vegetable oils, all different kind of food additives. And by 1986, the International Agency for Research on Cancer concluded that the BHA, that's what the abbreviation is a probable human carcinogen. And that's the thing, it's probable, it's a risk. And the US is regulated on the fact that it is willing to take that risk to harm other Americans. And this is why we should be involved. The GRAS system doesn't make it mandatory to disclose any ingredients to the FDA, and especially to the public's consumer, until we do our research. So harmful and untested chemicals will be used without any knowledge or concern, or even research. According to the CSPI.org on August 9th, 2025, given that the GRAS notices are entirely voluntary I may add, a food company can simply choose not to notify the FDA after it has made the GRAS determination. The company can then use the substance in food without the FDA's knowledge at all. So this is a laissez-faire policy that we have, and without its, let alone its approval, and we call this the loophole or the secret GRAS pathway that many companies will take in effect when we're regulating our food. Let's begin now looking at the FDA's lenient GRAS system will now, because of now allowing companies to decide what ingredients are in our food, will prioritize the shelf life and the economic ability of the weight and potential that businesses can create money without caring about people's health, and therefore many people suffer because of this. The FDA and the GRAS system continues to fail us by often waiting until there's numerous illnesses, hospitalizations, and problems that people will have that are health related to cancer or heart disease or any other problems, even like salmonella and other things too, before they choose to ban these harmful chemicals and ingredients in our food. Rather than relying on scientific evidence that other countries will use that are already out in the public air and space. The FDA ignores this scientific evidence, as we already have seen, and the research shows how harmful chemicals in our food supply is linked to health risks such as cancer, behavioral issues, or reproductive harm towards men and women. According to the research ebsco.com, on August 2014, chemical exposures have been linked to several chronic diseases, including metabolic and reproductive disorders and cancer. And that is insane. So the fact that we already have chemical exposures that are in our society that are already linked to all these health problems, this is what we're dealing with, and we need a fix. Other countries have been using precautionary evidence and research stating how certain chemicals are unsafe to consume that will require proof of harm with overwhelming evidence stating so. According to Time.com, titanium dioxide, that was on February 3rd, 2025. Titanium dioxide is used to make food and beverages whiter and brighter. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration, FDA, considers it safe for human consumption, but it isn't found in foods in Europe because they're not taking the risk. They're already not understanding that links can already lead to health problems. And it's a chemical that builds up in the body, and it harms the immune system and nervous system, and it should not be in foods that children can consume, because this is usually found in a lot of candy-based products. With more research being announced and other countries have been beginning to ban other products, the US has already been starting too. And they've already been passing laws in several states, such as Illinois, California, and New York, on how to fix this issue, and already banning chemicals that have already been found to affect our food. According to NYU.edu on August 8th, 2014, potassium bromate is banned in Europe, Canada, China, and Japan. California recently passed a law to ban its use, along with 3 other chemicals, and similar bills have been introduced in New York, Illinois, and Pennsylvania, as I previously stated above. And as we see here, looking at a visual aid, you can see the charts with the annual number of US food recalls, as you can see from this span, which have already it's been up and down these past couple years. And you can see here from 2023 and 2024, the rates of the food recalls and the amount of hospitalizations and deaths that we have, which these are the totals of all of them. And that to me is disgusting. The FDA, and the GRA system are continuously to fail us by having food safety systems relying on the public to detect and report harmful ingredients in our food rather than preventing them. But there are solutions to this issue that we can take. The FDA's food system and policies allow additives being self-regulated by businesses when deciding what ingredients are added to our food products. According to the FDA.gov on July 14, 2025, the FDA does not approve individual food ingredients before they are marketed out towards the public, and before they are considered GRAS, as we already know. And that is by having qualified experts, as we may say, under the conditions of intended use. This is also where the FDA and the GRA system will rely on consumers to report dangers when damage has already happened and people have already experienced negative side effects to food ingredients. According to the FSIS.gov on March 3rd, 2019, consumers are encouraged to report food safety concerns such as illness, injury, or contamination. The original packaging of uneaten food should be preserved for investigation. And that's what we should be doing. We need to speak up. We need to be involved and need to talk to our local governments. We need to speak up on social media and other platforms to spread the word, talk to people, and talk to anybody in power that can help to ban this issue. We're already seeing changes now, but there are more that we can do, and it does start with us in democracy. There are achievable solutions, and it starts with us, such as reporting problems to the FDA by signing petitions for cleaner food. According to the FDA.gov, you can speak to a product office or report a product problem over the phone. Healthcare providers can request the use of an investigational product, and you can call the number at 1-888-463-6332 to report any problems, which is what we should be doing. In conclusion, with companies exploiting the GRAS system and the FDA choosing an inaction type stance, so laissez-faire, as I said before, with harm being done, our food system is not protecting consumers, it's protecting the business. The GRAS system and the FDA's method to food safety is failing the United States, including us, giving companies power to approve chemicals without oversight, which are linked to several illnesses that many people have suffered in the US. But as a society, we need to get involved, and we should, and it does start with us as an American democracy to do so. You can contact, like I said before, local governments and all other research places to really help this issue by getting involved. Until we act, reform, and hold the FDA accountable, there will still be dangerous chemicals being dumped into our food every day and every year as manufacturing processes will take place. And they are continuously failing us, such as our lives. But being aware and informed is our first step, and why we should get involved is another. And it doesn't start with them, it starts with us, as we can speak up and make the change. Thank you.